You're listening to Flush Your Fat for Good with Jackie and Dr. Vicky, only on LA Talk Radio.
Well, hello. I'm Jackie Paget-Baird.
And I'm Dr. Vicky Arcady.
And thank you all for joining us today. We're Flush Your Fat for Good, to be lean and healthy for life. We actually wrote a book about it, and we have a website, flushyourfatforgood.com, and a private Facebook page called Flush Your Fat for Good Buddies. And we'd love for you all to join us in this journey of being lean and healthy. And a lot of times on our podcasts, we like to sometimes interview people for results before and afters, their health review. Also, we like to talk about certain scientific things that we use to back up why our lifestyle is, we believe, the lifestyle for a lifetime. And, Flush Your Fat for Good is not a diet. Everybody has to understand this is not a diet. This is not a 30, 60, 90-day, program, diet.
Yeah, and it's not restricted or starving or calorie restrictive.
Starving,
hungry all the time.
Right, or doing gimmicks. The thing is, this is all based on biochemistry and physiology. And you never crave. You're not craving anymore. After 72 hours, you can go right into a donut shop and could care less. You're not starving or hungry because you're always eating, but you know what to eat. You sleep deeper, you think sharper, you have better moods, way better moods. And you've got, it targets digestion, absorption, and elimination. But the great caveat is that it's safe, rapid fat loss. Mm-hmm. And once you lose and you continue to eat this way, we have phase 1, phase 2, and you'll read about it in our book. And we also have a workbook on our website that we'll talk about a little bit later. But you continue to eat this way to where you never have to worry about if you're going someplace to prepare for an event, a wedding, the summer, you want to get into a bikini, you never have to worry about that anymore. And the reason being is so many people have 3 different size clothes in their closet.
Right.
I always say mostly in the color gray and black, and that's all we ever wear because I like gray and black. But the main thing is, this lifestyle came to me, a lot of you guys know, you've read it in our book, you've heard me talk about it, you've seen us videoed in our VIP special on our website, how this whole lifestyle came to me through divine intervention. After a struggling crisis that I went through in my family, and it was like it all downloaded into my brain what to do to get off 50 pounds quick.
Pronto,
like yesterday,
yeah.
And feel amazing and just start off from 0 to 60 and never look back. Mm-hmm. So one of the things that came to me is what we're going to talk about today with our Did You Know That? Because a lot of people, we have done a podcast on coffee, and the milks. And the milks. Mm-hmm. But we're going to talk about our FYF4Good Latte. And people say, well, I don't like coffee. Do I have to drink coffee? Yes. But I've never drunk coffee. You'll learn. But I heard coffee's bad for you.
Yes, and we were, I think, and we might be the only lifestyle program, weight loss, fat loss, program out there that made coffee mandatory.
Yeah.
And in the beginning, 5 years ago, it was like, but she got the message. So we did whatever was given to her, we put into our book and we put into action right away. And the coffee was mandatory, and it still is, and it's very important with our
So we're going to show you how to make it and how we do our FYF4Good Latte. And we want y'all to enjoy this, because once you get started on this, you can have up to 1 to 3 cups of coffee a day. But you start off with a cup of coffee, okay? Now you can make it through a French press. You know.
Well, let me clarify that.
Okay.
You start with your breakfast, your fruit.
Oh yeah, no, I'm just talking about how we make
But
the
right
latte.
after that, you wait the appropriate time after your fruit, and then you're allowed to have your latte.
And you're going to be on an empty stomach because
Right.
you're going to do low glycemic fruit. That's your breakfast.
That's right.
You're breaking your fast. Fruit is nature's scrub brush, and that's going to clean out your gut. It's going to feed those little probiotics you took the night before, and it's going to bring up your blood sugar naturally to where you feel like $1,000,000. Once it digests in 20 minutes, then you're going to start making your latte. Okay?
Yum.
And we're going to show you how this can become a 20-gram drink latte. For those, we've checked out the studies. We have been researching this now for years. And so in our Did You Know That segment, we're going to teach you back and forth as to certain things that maybe you didn't know, but you should know because it's really to your benefit. So the first thing is coffee. It has to be organic.
Organic.
Without a doubt.
It has to be organic. I know from years and my whole career in practice, 30 plus, 35 probably now. It is 35. Okay. People drank coffee, and I use applied kinesiology, which is very specific muscle testing. But I never had an issue with coffee as long as it was organic. My patients would test wonderfully with organic coffee because the pesticides on the coffee, being one of the most, one of the highest sprayed crops in the world. Another one is strawberries, but coffee is by far one of the top. And those pesticides are toxins. And those pesticides interfered with body functions. And, the pesticides can also have an effect on your hormones. We know as a fact that pesticides can increase your estrogen.
Yeah, without a doubt.
And throw your hormones off. So anyway, bottom line is we want you to mandate coffee in your lifestyle with us, with Flush Your Fat for Good. And if you are one that likes, a little bit of pep from the coffee, you do the medium roast. If you want a little less of that pep and, you're sensitive to it, you do the dark roast.
I call it a buzz.
But
if you want the buzz, man, you do the medium.
The medium, isn't that interesting, though? The medium roast is a lighter roasted, and the dark roast is more heavily, it's more rich. That's the kind I like. She likes medium. And I can't drink the medium. It's too much for me.
No, but she can do an espresso right before she goes to bed
Exactly.
and fall asleep. So it's really weird.
Yes, but the benefits of coffee are so tremendous. And since we've been put this together over the years, the last almost 5 years now, there's more and more studies coming out. I just saw another one today that I was reminded of. 500,000 people in England were given coffee for 10 years.
Oh, wow.
They tested them for 10 years, 500,000 people. And they found that those that drank 2 to 5 cups a day, we recommend max 3, we go in the middle, had a 15 or 16% chance of living longer than those who didn't drink the coffee.
Okay, and that's good enough for me.
And so, besides the phytochemicals, besides better mood, besides, your alertness, my gosh, your brain becomes so alert. It increases your athletic performance. If you're an athlete, like I always made sure before my tennis matches, when I was on the tennis team, I drank some coffee before I went out there because it really gets your reflexes and it gets you alert. Your brain is just fired up and ready to go. There's so many things that it helps with. And I even saw a video with Dr. Oz, and everybody recognizes Dr. Oz as one of the authorities, and he had a video on his Twitter account about the benefit, how coffee, you're supposed to drink at least 2 to 3 or to 5 cups of coffee. I think he was quoting this study perhaps. But
well, when it came to me and I really started no matter what, because it was like, it was just a voice in my head. Yeah.
It just came whoosh.
You're going to go do this and do that and just don't question.
It was in your ear, right?
Yeah, it was totally Jackie.
Hello.
Yeah. But
This is your conscience.
when I started, now when you make the coffee, first of all, you have better metabolism. You have a better movement of your bowels.
Oh, yeah.
It acts as a diuretic,
Absolutely.
so it'll help to eliminate a lot of fluids if you're holding them.
It's warm,
it actually,
too.
Yes,
It's warm.
It brings up your IQ, by the way.
Yes.
They've talked about it, probably why the students are always drinking lots of coffee.
That was me.
Mm-hmm.
I took a thermos every day.
It's a mood elevator. And on top of that, some of the studies, when we first started doing Flush Your Fat with the coffee, saying it was mandatory, one of the most important things was that they determined in 2015 that coffee acts as a preventative against certain cancers, such as melanoma and breast cancer. And now they found more cancers that
Yes.
it could be beneficial for. So it's really, the problem isn't the coffee, it's if it's sprayed with pesticides. And if it's too much for you, you don't do it after like 12 noon or 2 p.m. For me, if I have coffee after 2 p.m., I'm vacuuming the house at 3 a.m., bar none, that's what's happening. So
She's shampooing. No, she's not vacuuming. She's shampooing her carpets and her couches.
I have a great whistle.
She loves it.
I love it. But, well, when you have 4 dogs, 3 cats,
that's
man,
right.
that's all you're doing in life.
Yes.
You sweep, you vacuum, and you shampoo. But the coffee is mandatory in Flush Your Fat for Good. Now, people that say, well, we can't do, I can't do, yes, you can. And you can start off very low, like a 1/4 cup. Even some people have an issue with that. You can do tablespoons. However, our latte just doesn't stop at that. Our latte involves certain milk. So we're going to recommend to you either goat milk, soy milk, unsweetened, non-GMO,
Correct.
hemp milk, and flaxseed milk. But the thing is, they can't have sugars in them.
It has to say unsweetened.
Yes,
on
and
the-
you
on
have
the
to really look, because
container.
they trick you.
Yeah.
You know, like recently I just saw flax milk, I think it was, flaxseed milk, with pea protein.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they put pea protein in
And
there.
then it's a starch, and then whatever.
And that I just posted in our room that the pea protein can be GMO,
Right.
and they don't put it on there.
And you gotta, yeah. But the reason why we do not want almond milk or coconut milk is because there's no protein in those milks, number one. Number two, the almonds are pasteurized, right?
They're pasteurized, which means they're either heated or they're steamed. They steam them, actually. They steam them, and they take all the the benefit out, the enzymes out of them. So
Right.
we don't want that.
No. So you can do soy milk, unsweetened, non-GMO, goat milk, which is closest to human mother's milk.
Correct.
And it's delicious. And it's not the same as cow milk. You don't get the mucus reaction. You don't get the allergy reaction. It's just Google the benefits of goat milk, and you'll just be shocked.
We did a podcast on that.
Right. Yeah, you can go to our YouTube channel, Flush Your Fat for Good, and you'll see the benefits of goat milk and goat yogurt.
And subscribe so you can get the notifications of our new podcasts.
Yeah.
So let me just clear up one thing about people out there are probably going, soy milk? What do you soy milk? They can't do soy milk.
Right.
Well, everybody's thinking about the hormonal effects of soy and soy milk. Well, we have studies there's thousands of studies with the benefits of soy. If you look at the one of the blue zones, Okinawa, those people live to triple digits, and what do you think they eat? Soy. The studies that were done to make us think that it's bad for us, it's just a plant. It's a healthy. The soybean is healthy for us.
If non-GMO.
And wait a minute, let me finish.
Okay.
And so the studies that came up and concluded that it would upset your hormones and imbalance them, and soy was terrible for you, was the GMO soy that was done. It was through Monsanto.
Right.
And those soybeans will disrupt your hormones. They will mess you up because they're genetically modified.
Yeah.
So the non-GMO, unsweetened soy milk is going to be very beneficial because you're going to get exactly what the Okinawans get.
There's a genistein is a phytochemical.
Oh, there's such things.
And that prevents the metastasizing of cancer. There's wonderful, it's from 7 to 8
Yes.
to some of it, like Eden soy, you can get 10 grams of protein.
Yes.
And it's delicious, it's easy to digest. Now, if you're allergic to soy, that's a different story.
That's a different story,
okay?
correct.
But if you're not, if you get unsweetened non-GMO, it's award-winning, and it's an added protein food source.
Plant
From
food.
a plant,
Yeah,
but
good.
it's mostly protein.
Yes.
So you're not getting the starch, okay? There's very little. All right, so we do the soy, non-GMOs, unsweetened, or the goat, or the hemp and the flax. But you got to be aware the hemp and the flax is tricky. So do what my mother told us to do all the time. Read it. If God made it, eat it. If man made it, read it. So read what's on the label, because they'll say, oh, all natural, pure hemp, and then you turn it around and it's got all these garbage in it.
It's got stuff. It's got starches in it.
pea
and
protein
all kinds
and
of
all that
stuff.
stuff.
That's a starch.
Right.
We don't want that in there.
So the milk, which is fun, when you make your coffee, you can make it any way you wish. You can get the grounds, and you can use hobo coffee, which is where you put the grounds in the bottom of a Pyrex,
ball jar,
whatever, glass jar, but the Pyrex is great because it's got a little handle on it. And you throw the grounds in there, you pour the water on top to let it just soak for a while, 3 minutes, and then you take a little strainer and you strain that Pyrex glass into your coffee cup. That's one way.
We actually have a video on our fleshorfatforgood.com. You can rent by the day, or if you're a VIP member, you can watch them, as much as you want.
To your heart's content.
But we show how to make the latte, and we show the hobo coffee, which
Right.
is so delicious.
And hobo coffee, by the way, I learned when I was 21 years old on the road as a musician dancer, and that's how everybody on the road, when they traveled, would make their hobo coffee. The other way is a French press. A French press is awesome, and you can buy them anywhere. Get on Amazon. You can get the big ones, the little ones. Little ones are great because you can travel with it, or you just make, you put your 1 or 2 tablespoons of your grounds in the little French press. There's a presser in it, and you pour the water up to the top, and you put the little top with the spring there, and you let it sit for about 3 minutes, and then you press it down. Now all the grounds stay at the bottom, and then you pour that into your coffee cup. Or if you're
Delicious.
lucky enough to have one of those coffee makers and they do everything except your dishes, go for it. So that's coffee, okay? But then with the milks, we explain the milks, but the great thing is get a frother. Get like a Breville, which is you can put a cup to a cup and a half of the milk into the frother, and it just ring like this.
Do you
and
have a
before
picture
you
of
know,
that?
no, I don't have the Breville, but I do have the milk. Yes, and
froth.
it's frothed up.
Okay, yeah. You can
our,
see.
our esteemed engineer Sam has the picture,
Yeah.
which he will show
And
us.
it's so fun to drink that.
Yeah. And the thing is, when you make your coffee and then you have your milk, the first thing you want to do is before you put them together, you're going to grab what we call branch chain amino acids, BCAAs, which are isoleucine, leucine, and valine. Okay? These are amino acids, but the kind we use are structured peptides, not just your amino acids. These are structured peptides. They're far more superior to standard free-form amino acids because they produce 250% greater muscle growth than the regular BCAAs. Now, isoleucine, leucine, and valine are these BCAAs, branch chain amino acids, but they help to build your lean muscle mass. And when you're drinking this latte of ours, you're already on an empty stomach because your fruit has left the stomach cavity. So it's going to go into the duodenum or the small intestines, and it's going to do a couple of things. Number one, when you wind up drinking this, and we're going to show you how to do it, it's going to trigger the satiety center by releasing CCK, which is cholecystokinin. It's going to tell your satiety center you're not that hungry, you're full, you're satisfied, satiety, satisfied. It's also going to go, because it's on an empty stomach, and in hot beverage, which is the best. When I remember there were years and years ago when we were working with Butch Johnson from the Dallas Cowboys, we played around with branched chain amino acids, and we found out it was best put into hot fluids. Well, when I decided to put it into the hot coffee, because of all the benefits, it was like a trifecta. It was unbelievable. So you are putting these branched chain amino acids in a powder form, 2 scoops, which each scoop equals 5 grams of protein. So now you've got 2 scoops of this in your coffee, and you're going to sprinkle some cinnamon in there, which is use as much as you want because the benefits are incredible of cinnamon, right? It helps balance your hormones.
Do you want me to go into that?
Do you, yeah, in a minute. Yeah, in a minute. And then
I'm waiting for my cue.
Her cue is now. But
no, it was benefits. I heard all day and last night. When I say benefits, you need to go into.
Okay. This is called ad lib. But then you do a splash of cayenne pepper. Okay. So that's
a
optional.
Dash. You mean not a splash?
A splash, a dash.
Tabasco.
Yeah, tomato. Ask
you don't use Tabasco. You use the powder.
No, don't do that.
No.
So I just want to recap here because we have a cup of coffee, and what we're doing is we're putting the BCAAs in it.
Yes.
Then we're going to sprinkle cinnamon in there, and then we're going to put a dash of, and that's optional, but let me tell you, that's the killer because we're going to talk about why. And then you put the frothed milk in with it, and you want about 1 cup to 1.5 cups of your milk. So you can mix it all up before you put the milk in there so that it's all mixed up with the coffee itself, and then you put the frothed milk in there. You can play around with it.
Well, some people put it on top of the froth milk.
Yeah, but then when you're mixing it up, you don't have that foam to go over your face. It's so delicious.
Okay.
But you can do whatever you would like. The bottom line is...
you'll figure it out.
That we've already talked about the benefits of the coffee, the benefits of the milk, and the proteins. The BCAAs, let's talk a little about that.
Basically, the BCAAs help to build muscle mass. I mean, to add it to your coffee like that and your milk is brilliant because you're going to give you, these are BCAAs that you must get, or amino acids you must get through your diet. So when you get them through your diet, like chicken is leucine, is one of the highest in leucine, which is one of the branched chain aminos. But these are the amino acids that are going to, like she said, 250% muscle growth. But with that, as it builds muscle, you're going to burn fat. They cause you to burn the fat. And the more muscle you have, the more fat you burn.
Right.
That's why the men, testosterone, men have thicker, bigger muscle mass, and they burn. Ladies, that's why they lose more weight than us.
That's why we don't like them.
That's the problem, is that testosterone. But when we need them to, we need that testosterone.
Oh, yeah, we appreciate that testosterone for sure.
But
that's true, what you're saying. With every twitch of the muscle, you're going to burn fat, so you better build your lean muscle mass.
Right, and guess what?
We're not talking about being bulky.
No, guess what? Your heart is a muscle.
Right.
So you're going to build your organs as well. I mean, the body's innate intelligence is going to take and put them where they need to go. We don't know where they're going. The innate intelligence and the body in itself, the way it heals itself and repairs itself, is going to repair the muscle wherever it needs to be repaired or built. So That's the beauty of this also. Now, I want to talk also about the really great benefits for elderly. You know, as we get older, we're not getting older, but
No.
as
But for those that do.
those that get older, those that get older, you know, become less active, okay? And they become more sedentary. And what happens is they start to lose the muscle mass. I mean, it's part of aging. The muscle mass starts to go away.
Mm-hmm.
And I can remember, you know, you can just see as you live each day and you observe elderly people, you know, that when they get up, they you know, they even
Struggle.
have those chairs that tilt up for you know, for an elderly person, so they can get up easily. But they have a hard time, or you have to pull them up, or they're, you know, it takes them, you know, 10 seconds to get that. Well, I remember my dad, I started to give him the structured peptides, the branched chain aminos, and it didn't take very long, maybe a week, maybe 2 weeks max. But he was able, I would see, you know, I'd see him every day, and my God, he would just spring out of the chair.
Yep.
And the other thing that happens to the elder, that's, you know, the elderly is very important because they usually have B12 deficiencies too, because why? They eat tea and toast.
Right.
They don't want to cook. So they have deficiencies, and one of them, big one, is protein. So if you can help them to make their own latte, you know, with these peptides in there, it's really going to help them. Besides that, it helps their brain.
Yeah.
Their memory gets better. They're sharper.
Mm-hmm.
Many have told us, you know, I don't even care about losing anything. I just am so happy that I have my memory back.
Yeah, the memory's coming back.
And
It's
the
sharper.
sharpness.
It's probably playing a role with the neurotransmitters.
Well, my dad, it's beyond that. My dad, if I said, Dad, okay, so we were figuring out a price or something, and I'd say, he was always so good with, in his head, doing math. And I'd say, Dad, okay, so if it's, you know, 565 and we got to divide, and he'd go, oh, I just can't, Vicki, I just can't do that right now. He had like brain fatigue.
Fog or something.
Brain fatigue.
Yeah.
And then when he started, you know, having a regular beefed up protein latte, BCAA latte, he was like this again.
Right.
I said, so what's this divided? Okay, let me think. That's what. Okay, that's about blah 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 blah.
Right.
Okay, so it was like amazing. So it has huge effects. You know, we have to have protein in our diets, and many times, depending on what we do, if you're very active, with my job as a chiropractor, I was very active. It's like an athlete. You have to eat more protein because you're tearing down muscles. You're stripping, you know, you're stripping your skeletal muscle, and you're exerting yourself all day long. So you have to replenish that.
But let me tell you this, the BCAA structured peptides, not every company has them.
No.
Many of the branched chain amino acids, you can just Google them. There's 1,000 BCAAs, but they come from duck feathers. They also come from legumes, and they'll come from whey. But the ones you want are the structured peptides. Now those will come, the best will come from the whey, but they're not whey. And I'm highly allergic to cow dairy.
And whey.
And whey, and whey is a cheap source of protein. So you want the structured peptides from it. You know, you can get amino acids from a tobacco leaf.
Right.
You know, but you're not going to eat a tobacco leaf.
And
you can get the amino acids out of it, though.
There's crystalline amino acids that are pharmaceutical made.
And they're single free form from grown on sugar beets and molasses.
Right.
But when you can get something that's a structured peptide
From a food product.
yes, that's your best bet, and the body will recognize it a lot better and utilize it. We've seen it. So, yeah, we have had buddies from our Flush Your Fat for Good. No, I'm not going to drink coffee. And I said, well, on phase 1 you are. On phase 2 you don't have to. But by phase 2, they're hooked. They love it. And it's not an addiction. It's just that it is so beneficial for the body does want it. And then their comment is, and they really say this. I don't care if I lose 1 pound because my mood is better, my brain is better,
Yes.
everything. So the branched chain amino acids are a must in our lives. And you're right. Most people do not get enough protein, period. They're not.
Fact.
And especially a lot of people that are going into vegan diets. The problem is it takes 17 generations to change a metabolic structure. If you are Asian, if you are from India, if you are from a culture that for your past generations, ancestries have eaten similar to veganism, more power to you. But you take a Russian, German, Welsh, Polish, Irish, and turn them into a Hindu, if you take a Hindu diet and give it to an Eskimo, you're going to kill the Eskimo. And if you take the Eskimo and give that Eskimo diet to the Hindu, you're going to kill the Hindu, okay? It's just not great for the metabolic structure of their genetics. And we work with vegans, and we have wonderful alternatives for the vegans, and you'll see it in our workbook. And we talk about it in our book here.
And we have tremendous protein sources. In fact, we had her twin sister who owns the company. She's a vegan. And Spice of Life Meats.
Yeah, Spice of Life, meatless meats, and she makes them a certain way, and for vegans, it's a must.
Yeah.
However, with the latte, and we are using organic coffee, we're using organic milks, no sugar, non-GMO, no cow, no coconut,
No cow milk.
no almond, okay? So we're doing that. We're putting the isoleucine, leucine, and valine BCAAs, 2 scoops, 5 grams each, into the coffee itself, sprinkled with cinnamon. Now let's talk about the benefits of cinnamon.
Cinnamon.
Which
you know what? There's so
that's
many.
one of my favorites.
There's so many benefits that I had to print off a list because
Really?
I had no idea.
I know I feel better when I do cinnamon.
One of the top benefits of cinnamon is for type 2 diabetics.
Oh,
It helps with insulin resistance, helps the insulin become more sensitive. And it can actually lower your blood sugar. Cinnamon. Did you know that? It's so beneficial for type 2 diabetics.
I heard that, but I didn't really concentrate on it because I'm not diabetic or have sugar problems. But years ago I was hypoglycemic. So I didn't really pay that much attention. Now I don't have that problem because the amount of protein I eat. But for those out there that have a sugar problem, then cinnamon is going to be beneficial for you.
Most of our buddies come into this with insulin resistance, and they're pre-diabetic, because if you have a bit of weight on you, excess weight, it's inevitable you're going to become insulin resistant, and then it's a cascade of events where you can't control no matter what. If you starve or if you eat, you're going to keep gaining weight because of the insulin.
But which means you're going to be pre-diabetic or diabetic.
That's what I said, pre-diabetic.
Well, insulin resistance.
That's right. So the cinnamon helps with that. So isn't that great?
Yeah.
I mean, we give you a
every
tonic.
day.
We give you a tonic first thing in the morning, and later in the afternoon you get your cinnamon fix, and your proteins. And by the way, these proteins are digestible because they're broken down. They're peptides, and they go right into your system. They don't require digestion, although we have had some buddies who even their digestion was so bad that they had a hard time digesting the peptides.
But that's
which
when you
is
take,
rare.
Yeah, but rare. But the fix is you take digestive enzymes with it.
That's right.
You do it
So
right before it.
We know how to fix that. And anyway, so
what
it
else?
fights free radicals.
Okay.
Isn't that good?
Yeah.
Lowers bad cholesterol. That's your LDL. Okay. It gives you bone health, so it helps your bones. It's antibacterial and antimicrobial. In fact, I read somewhere that you could actually put cinnamon in your hands and wash your hands with it, and it'll take care of the bacteria.
Really?
Yes. And well, you know, they have cinnamon toothpaste, they have cinnamon
Yeah, they have their toothpaste.
gargles,
Yeah.
they have cinnamon mouthwash, you know.
Okay.
And you're if you want to stave off a cold, drink cinnamon. Have your cinnamon. And by the way, the Ceylon, somebody asked that in the room.
Yeah.
Ceylon, Ceylon, is known as the true cinnamon. So that's the one you're supposed to be. You really should try to
You can get a big one at Costco if
Right.
you have a Costco near you.
It's known as the true cinnamon.
Yeah.
Let's see.
I dump it in mine.
It even talks about ADD. It helps people with ADD, probably with the brain. Has to do with something with the brain. You know, it helps with Parkinson's.
Wow.
It's great for weight loss.
Of course.
Okay, it's a
This
thermogenic.
is probably why it was divine intervention, because
That's
that's
right.
what was told to me. Use a lot of cinnamon in your coffee. Now,
It's a thermogenic, so it helps. And treats symptoms of Alzheimer's. This is
Wow.
deep, man.
yeah.
Fights against salmonella, and I already mentioned about the cold. It helps common cold. Even after you get the cold, take cinnamon, you know, and it's going to help you. Okay, here's a good one. Boost your sex drive.
That's why
Hello.
I bought 2 the other day. No. I didn't know that, but that's awesome.
It's supposed to be great for your skin, although I never used it on my skin.
You put it on your skin or just when you're eating
on your
it?
skin and
Oh,
inside.
okay.
Anti-inflammatory properties. PMS helps with PMS. That makes sense. Helps with yeast infections. It's an insect repellent.
God, who knew?
Neurodegenerative diseases helps combat those. It's a warming agent. If you're cold,
Yeah,
drink
I
tea
noticed
or
that.
drink your your latte with cinnamon in it. You're going to warm up. It helps the stomach flu.
Well, we have a few more seconds here to go on to
Antifungal.
this.
It's an antifungal. It helps arthritis. It's a natural preservative, and it helps bad odors.
Really?
Yeah.
My
Not body.
daughter's on this kick of natural. I'm making my own deodorants now.
And it tastes
So
good.
should she put the cinnamon in her deodorant?
Yeah? No.
Oh, okay.
I don't
Okay.
know if she wants cinnamon smell.
Maybe. All right, so the next thing is the dash of cayenne pepper. So let's talk about the benefits
Cayenne
of cayenne.
is out.
Now,
off
who
the
came
charts.
up with this?
I mean, that's ridiculous.
You know this is a higher power.
Yeah.
And when I started doing this, everybody said, "What are you doing?" And I said, "You have to try this because this is amazing." And I knew that it was helping with fat loss. But there's also great benefits with cayenne pepper, especially how it acts like a thermogenics. But give us your stuff.
Oh, by the way, cinnamon has been used by ancient Egyptians. That's how old it is.
Well, that's good
And
enough
used for medicinally.
Mhm.
Okay.
Okay.
Cayenne. There's a buzz, you know, in the cleanse, the master cleanser for cleansing and detoxifying. But cayenne has been used, now listen to this, in the past for ailments including indigestion, confusion, tremors,
Maybe that's why I got it.
gout, fever, flatulence, that's gas, you know, sore throat, absolutely,
I can see that.
hemorrhoids,
Whoa.
and, you know, midwives use it for excessive bleeding, and menorrhagia is bleeding in women when you're having your period and you're really flooding, you know.
Flowing. Yeah. It's a big flow.
Flooding.
It's called flood.
Nausea, tonsillitis, scarlet fever, and diphtheria. But it's also an anti-irritant, clears congestion. If you have mucus and congestion from a sore throat, cayenne's the way to go, baby.
Yeah.
With some lemon, and you're in business with warm, right?
Yeah.
Clears it
'cause,
out.
Yeah, it makes your organs sweat.
It resists harmful organisms. It's a proverbial surgical flame thrower, they call it.
What does that mean?
It defends against harmful organisms.
Got it.
It's a headache remedy. It's a digestive aid. It helps with your stomach. It relieves gas, intestinal gas. It helps increase the flow of your enzyme production and your gastric juices. So that's going to help your digestion.
It's amazing.
See, that'll help with your latte. Anti-redness properties for cellular distress, like if you have cellular inflammation, it helps with that. Produces saliva.
Yes.
It makes your
salivate.
It makes you salivate,
which
I'm
is
doing
great
right
for
now.
your digestion. I am too, because I'm ready to have one of these.
Cardiovascular health. It helps with that.
Yes, I knew that.
It detoxes you, which we talked about. Joint discomfort. It soothes that. It helps your joints. It's anti-inflammatory.
Can you imagine? We're doing this twice a day with this stuff.
Promotes longevity, which we want, because
Yes.
we're not going to age. It's a metabolic booster, which it controls appetite because you're increasing your metabolism.
And you just have to do a dash in your coffee.
Oh, listen to this. It's helps you with promote a healthy heart by reducing arrhythmias.
Nice.
And it tastes great. So, there's
Okay.
lots of things,
So now,
Did you know all that?
No,
See?
I
I'm
didn't,
telling
but
you.
I knew not to argue with the man. When we make our lattes, because I use a cup to a cup and a half of the milk, and I make about an entire cup of the coffee, so I use one of these. I know it's radical. It's actually
fills it up,
It's
too.
a beer mug, but I love this, and it's
Where'd you get that? 99-cent store?
Yeah.
Yeah, 99
Yeah, that's my
cents.
favorite
Such
store.
a deal, I'm telling you.
Except I do have this one for the afternoon, which says "World's Youngest Looking Grandma." Somebody just sent that to me because I am a grandma now, and
She doesn't do the coffee in the afternoon. So you
No.
don't have to do coffee twice a day.
No.
You don't have to.
but I do 2 tablespoons in the morning, so it's like 2 cups.
Yes.
But this is, as you can see, this is radical. But man, this is a great drink, and this like this. So this is my mug with my milk and my structured peptides for my. It's
this one.
yeah. Let me see the size of that. Mine's still bare.
It's wider, though.
okay, is it?
And
What I was going to say is, in the afternoon, if you can't do the coffee, then you heat up the milk. You froth it up with either a whisk or with your frother. There's handheld ones too with a battery in it. And then you sprinkle in the cinnamon, do a dash of cayenne pepper, and put your peptides in there.
Right.
So we call that still a FYF4Good latte. Now, years ago, we came across a product that was amazing, and it was from a company called Manitech, and it's called Osoline. And Osoline has structured peptides, and it's coupled with some lecithin, and I think it's got sialic acid in it.
it's really good.
It's really good, and it's an excellent source of structured peptides. And many of us use that. Many people are finding their own BCAAs from the book that we describe what is recommended. But it has to be structured peptides because we want to build the lean muscle mass.
So she called it
Yes.
the Oso Latte.
I coined it in our group, and everybody that was using it was calling it the Oso Latte. So if you
Now
guys
we call it the FYF.
well now because it's,
it's-
universal.
It's both the same.
But
though.
for those that
Yeah.
use the Osoline, then you guys can call it the Oso Latte.
Right.
And it's amazing, and it's a good taste. It's a real good taste.
It all tastes good. And when you start drinking this, it's such a treat that you just can't wait. You just can't wait. You're just counting the minutes
Right.
before
When
you
we
can have your latte.
we have a call on Wednesday. It's called the Power 100 call.
Yes.
Now, we are very passionate about helping those that are extremely obese.
Mm-hmm.
We know about globesity, which is obesity all over the world, and it's bad wherever you go. Now, America is the #1 fattest nation. It used to be Mexico. Mexico, the #1 death is type 2 diabetes, but America is second. And then we just talked with Rose from
Netherlands.
the Netherlands, and she's telling us because she's traveled all over. She's one of our coaches in the Netherlands, and she's amazing. She said she's beginning to see it everywhere as well, in the children. So it's frightening. And so our Power 100 call on Wednesday is hosted by one of our gals, our coaches, called Coach Jennifer. And we talk about her in the book as well. And she had lost 100 pounds with our lifestyle, and she wanted us to do a special call every week for those that need certain care.
Yes.
They
More
have different issues.
kind of, different kind of.
They have to,
They have different needs.
look,
They
you
have
got
different
10,
support.
15 pounds,
Yeah.
this is not a head trip for you. But when you've got 100, 200, 300 pounds to lose, you can just watch that show, My 600-Pound Life.
Oh,
And
boy, yeah.
your heart breaks for them. Our heart breaks for them. We just
Yes.
want to get over there and try to help those people.
Yes.
Because we're working with people that have 200 and 300 pounds to lose. And we love it because they're going to be with us for a long time, and we help them through it. And we talk about that in the book. But also the call, Power 100, is where you call in every Wednesday. And when you join us, then you get an email, and we post it in our Facebook room saying the calls tonight,
Right.
tomorrow. And Coach Jennifer does a fabulous job on whoever wants to ask questions or just listen, learn, and ask away. The other thing I want to tell you is with our website, Flush Your Fat for Good, we have, if you join us as a VIP member, we have 23 videos. We are in the kitchen making the lattes, making the food, making the staples, showing you how to do it. And it's fun. It's fun for you to watch us be in the kitchen doing that.
Yeah.
And also
great.
we sit down and we're interviewed by our co-writer, Kathleen Powell, who helped us to put this all together.
Oh,
and
she formatted the book.
Yeah,
I mean, we would have never been able to do it. I'll tell you
no.
that. We're like herding squirrels, you know.
No. But I mean, we have the content, but it was like, where do we start?
Yeah.
You know, your room's so messy, you just shut the door and walk out.
You don't know where to start.
So God bless Kathleen. So
Yeah.
she's helped us tremendously to put this together. And she interviewed us, but also we have a coaching course, and it's not just to be a coach. Our coaching course is to be able to coach yourself, coach a loved one, get your family coached up, or to be able to,
Coached up.
get that whip out. No, you're not eating that. Take those Fritos out of here. But the people that are in the health and wellness industry, and it's a certified course, and we have people getting recertified as well. And there are 7 modules, and you take a test at the end of each one, and at the very end, you do get to print off your own certificate.
It's for understanding, and so you can succeed also with this. Some people want to know why, and this gives you the why.
So in the website, you're going to see our storefront, and at the store, we've got the GLA and the, kaboom, CLA.
Oh.
These are our essential fatty acids, and these are wonderful.
And this is available on Amazon.com, by the way.
Right,
I don't
and
think you
also in the
mentioned
room.
that. Yeah.
And we have Starter Kit 1.
We have other tools.
And we have Starter Kit 2.
To
Starter
help you.
Kit 1 has our workbook, our charts, and our essential fatty acids. Starter Kit 2 has the workbook and the charts, but not the GLA and CLA.
Right.
So with all of that in mind, we want to thank you for joining us.
We want you to try the latte and stick with it. It's
Yes,
so good.
you're gonna love
You're
it.
going to love it.
Okay, so until next week, God bless.
Bye-bye.
You're listening to Flush Your Fat for Good with Jackie and Dr. Vicky, only on LA Talk Radio.